Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to another video. This is the series of videos to hype up the compos that are going to happen at Revision 7th to 10th of April, Saarbrücken, Germany. Hope to see you all there, as I've been mentioning before on the past videos. This video in particular is about the old school 4K category that's been since the beginning of Revision, since Revision 2011, and to help me go through the list of productions that have happened throughout the years at Revision, I have with me Gasman, which is the main organizer of the competition. Hello Gasman, how are you doing today?
Hello, yep, pretty good, yep, happy to be here.
How was Forever? You enjoyed the party a lot?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic, yeah, really good, great to be back, and it's like, as soon as I stepped through the door, it's like memories coming flooding back, just like when...
So you're all back to real physical demo party, so I guess you're hyped for Revision as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so old school 4K category. It bridges all the different machines that we call old school, and the definition of old school is very subjective and prone to debates. What you use for old school definition at Revision is the video game consoles from the 4th generation and handheld systems from the 5th generation. So that includes the Commodore 64, the VIC-20, the Atari, you can see the list here, the NES, the Super NES, Master System Mega Drive, ZX Spectrum, Game Boy Color, and all those sort of machines from that range. The Amiga is also included, but not listed here. But I guess you only include the Amiga OCS, ECS, and not the AGA?
Let's see, it gets complicated because I think, yeah, technically, let's see, yes, I think OCS is allowed in this one, because I think technically...
Unless the rules changed throughout the years. I know there were a few Amiga entries early on the first years.
Yeah, certainly, yeah, definitely OCS. Yeah, and yeah, given that there isn't 4K Amiga compos, so I think they do naturally go in here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Specific compos about specific rules about the old school 4K compo needs to be within 4,000 kilobytes or 4,096 bytes to be precise. If the card size or memory size is bigger than 4096, you need to use only code to that range, and you also must include all the loaders and launchers in that thing. There's some notes here about the sys command and auto start for Commodore 64, and the load asterisk, the load quotes for the ZX Spectrum. Can you tell us a little bit more about this, Gaspan?
Yeah, so with this being, I think it's the only cross-platform old-school 4K compo, we have to account for the fact that traditionally different platforms have had different ways of counting. So on the Spectrum, for example, it's like 4,096 bytes of the machine code binary. So we usually don't count the basic loader, but to keep things on an equal playing field for the platforms that do, like I think traditionally the C64 does count the loader as part of that, then we've set the standard that yes, and all of the basic loaders you need to actually get it up and running have to be included.
Okay. Yeah, a few other details here. You should, if you're planning to submit something for this category, please go through all of these rules, read them carefully. You can also contact Gasman if you need any clarifications or send an email to Revision's hotline. Let's go through the releases that happened historically since the first revision. So the first revision that happened in 2011, we had quite a few Amiga and a couple of Commodore 64 entries. You can see here, Bullshit by Zombies, Block and Roll, Beam Racer for the VCS, the Atari 2600, which is always very cool to see. Some stuff for the Amiga, as I mentioned. Dots for the Commodore 64, and the winner was Bitbanger by LFT, which was actually a custom chip and at Tiny, I believe it was called, and he did an intro in it because he's LFT. He can do this. So how did you feel about this first year of compo entries? Were you pleased with the outcome, Caspan?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It's so long ago, and yeah, I don't really remember all that much. Well, I suppose it was all new to me because this was well, not just the first revision, the first time I was ever running a compo, but yeah, I do remember Bitbanger being a bit of a challenging one to capture. So, but yeah, it was all a bit of a blur.
LFT didn't provide a video?
Um,
You don't remember?
I think yeah, I think you might have done, but yeah, I think we do try to.
Do you traditionally capture all your own entries?
Yeah, so we always ask people to well bring hardware if it's not one of the standard platforms that we sort of have to hand. So yeah, we always try to capture from the real hardware. It was only really in the online compos that we had to relax that and started accepting emulator captures. But yeah, it's really for the real life ones it was
I guess throughout the years you sort of built up a way to capture old school machines properly. Are you usually the person behind that, or is that more Frankie's department? Are you comfortable talking about that? The
Yeah,
chain that you
so
use to capture the different stuff?
yeah, so I wouldn't consider myself a total expert in it, but yeah, it's yeah, Frankie and Charlie are probably really the ones who stay on top of the hardware, but yeah, I to deal with it, and yeah, as time has gone on, we've I think the hardware has evolved and improved. We have the things like the OSSC for which handles pretty much any old school signal you can throw at it, and yeah, I think we're slowly reducing our dependency on this of enormous rack mount image pros and DSC Sony things. So yeah,
Okay.
it's always a challenge, but yeah, it's
Okay, let's continue to the year of 2012. Slightly less number of entries. We see some stuff for the ZX Spectrum. Actually, probably by yourself. It's Program, so I assume it's you.
yep.
Uh,
That was a bit of a combo filler.
some Commodore 64 entries, something for the CPC by Benediction and Program, and Purple Eggs for the Amigo CS by Boo Zombies, who participated on this competition quite a few times throughout the years. And the winner was for the VCS Stella Lives by Diopen. Really cool. Any specific memories about this year in particular, or shall we move on to the next?
Not much, just say it's nice to see a diverse set of platforms. Always good to see. I think we've always done well at that on the revision 4K.
I was actually rewatching False Dimension by PWP because I had forgotten about it, and I do like PWP stuff so much. But yeah, this one was really cool. It was different. Their stuff is usually more story oriented, so this one was a lot shorter. But yeah, this was the highlight for me. Moving on to 2013, not that many entries, a bit of a dull year. Only 2 Commodore 64 stuff and 6 for the VCS by Digital Sound Systems and Trilobit. So that was a bit sad.
Yeah, it's. I think there's is ups and downs in how much interest there is. I think it's like a lot of compos. It fluctuates from year to year. You do get light years.
So let's see how it picked up on the following year. It had quite a few more entries again. Flash doing something for the VCS again. A lot of presence from the VCS throughout the years, which is curious because it's not a very, active, known platform for people doing stuff. Only, I'm going to say... I'm gonna shut up because I was gonna say something and it's probably gonna be wrong, and then the Atari people will be all over me. So I'm just gonna say that it's not very common to see the Atari 2600 being used all that much. Some stuff for the Amiga as well. Some more Atari things. Commodore 64, more Amiga by Looney's, Painter's Frustration. Did a whole series of Painter's different stuff. Painter's Frustration, Painter's Euphoria, I think was called. And the winner was Cubescapes by Decadence, which someone used Fraps to capture this screenshot and uploaded it to DemoZoo. As the 50 there on the corner. So yeah, better compo than the previous year. So I guess you were happy with this one?
Yeah, it's nice to see that. Yeah.
Moving on to 2015, 50 Shades of Grey Matter by Blue Zombies, yet again. LFT doing another presence, this time with a 512 bytes, and we will see more about that in the following years. Fairlight also doing a 4K. JTZ and Skyrunner doing a VCS intro. Again, every single year seems to be a VCS intro. And Painter's Euphoria, here it is from that a follow-up to previous years. This time a collaboration with Unstable Label. I think it was Hoffman doing the sound for this. So really cool entries, the quality starting to increase. Let's take a look at 2016. Not that many entries, but very high quality, all of them. The Mega Drive entry by Decadence, your own gimmicky, harder, better Manic Miner entry. Was this a compo filler as well?
Yeah. So that was, but yeah, consciously done as a compo filler. Yeah, we have 2 entries, but yeah, it turned out to be well. Yeah, it got a meteoric nomination. So yeah,
you did something right with the compo filler. And then the winner was the best intro ever by Razor 1911. I think this was the first intro that Rez did for the Commodore 64. It had music by Format, which is also a legend in the demo scene. So not that many entries at 2016, and then 2017, myriad of entries again. A lot of stuff of the Commodore 64, for the Atari, something for MS-DOS by Shilem, which is actually a United States group, which is really cool to see them participate in a European party. Arcus and Benediction for the CPC, and we'll see more CPC at this compo on the following years. VCS again, always representing almost every single year. Decadence getting second place, and the winner, A Mind is Born by LFT, which was completely crazy. 256 byte intro, and it has so much progression in it, so much texture, both visual and sound. It was nominated for quite a few awards, and I think it even won the Tiny Intro, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure right now.
Yeah, I think it might have done. And I have to admit, when I was preparing the compo, I didn't really pick up on A Mind is Born as the standout one. I think it's one that really benefits from the big screen. So seeing it just on standard screen, and so it was a bit of a fluke that I'd put that one at the end of the compo. But yeah, I think it really deserved it. Yeah.
It was the only 256 byte intro. There was the 32 byte by Squawk Wool, which I think already uses that hardware dip switch thing that they were developing. Probably, maybe.
I think so. No, I think that might have been the next year.
Only next year. Let's take a look. No, not next year.
Okay.
But soon we will have a flood of those tiny intros with VCS. So Commodore 64 by a few Belgians. VIC 20 intro, which is also not very common at this compo. More Atari stuff. Shilem again this year doing another MS-DOS 4K. Flush doing something for the VCS, Atari ST, and the winner is Ometricum by Vanity, which also got a lot of positivity. Look at the points difference, 1,000 to 600. Like, this was clearly the winner. Really cool quality, and like so much content for a single intro was really cool, and the music was also pretty good.
Yeah, and as we'll see in the following years, I think Vanity they've really done a great job of standing out with really well-designed concepts. I think with 4Ks, things can lean more towards throw a bunch of effects in, but I think there's always a really striking, well thought out design. Yeah. Really like.
Okay, let's take a look at 2019. And this is the year that was flooded with those hardware-coded entries. There was this, for those who don't know what we're talking about, there was this, I think it was Svoli of Squawk Wool, who did this hack on the VCS where you could change the hardware dip switches on the different bits and bytes and bobs. Correct me if I'm saying something wrong, Gasman. So people could physically code their entry into the fixed system of the VCS and do stuff by just changing pins around from one place to another.
Yeah, so it's basically a 32-byte cartridge where instead of a ROM, it was physical dip switches.
And you could make some interesting stuff. And it would also do sound at the same time. So it was really thing for the whole family. We also had a Commodore 64 entry in Petsky, of all things, which is really cool. VIC-20 intro by K2, a Neo Geo entry by Citavia, and I guess the Neo Geo must have like special headers and stuff. Like it shouldn't be easy to, because it's a console, so probably has less real estate space than the other home computer things to cram your code in. I'm assuming. I have no clue. I never really coded for the Neo Geo. I only heard of some people who did some stuff for it. But yeah, Vanity on the third place, doing another entry, the third kind. Don't Be Square by Loonies got second place. And the winner was Megademica by... You made the music for this one. The code was by Serstov. It was ridiculous. It felt like an animation because it had so many scenes and all of them with this weird sort of blur effect. And to this day, I have no clue how they managed to fit so many scenes into a 4K.
No, I have no idea either. It's 80 or maybe even like 100 scenes, and it's... And you might think it's just like one effect just with random parameters, but no, there is kind of a storyline running through it. So he had specific ideas of which ones to display when. So just working out, well, yeah, how many bytes are there for each effect? Just insane.
It was ridiculous. When I saw it, I was like, okay, how can this be 4K? It's impossible. How can everything fit into 4K here?
It's a bit of an adventure to getting that one recorded for the compo as well, because as you probably know, like the Russian Spectrum clones, they're slightly incompatible, different timings, and he'd actually written the effects timed for the Russian
for the Pentagon.
Yeah, but I obviously done the music and timed that for the original Spectrum. And, as we were sort of putting the final bits together, and I kept having to adjust the timings to make it fit the effects, and then he said, "No, what are you doing? I had that one right the first time." It was like 15 minutes before the compo. We were like, "Wait, you're doing this? You recorded this for, designed this for the Pentagon?" So I think we literally had one chance to record it in the 10-15 minutes before the compo on the right timings before dashing down and playing it. So
wow, that's a very typical demo scene story, like rushing down to deliver something right at the deadline of being shown. Next year, 2020, this was the online edition already, so sadly no more e-work for us. We did have Love Jesus submitting an entry though, so that's always fun. Brainstorm did something for Commodore 64. I think it was the first entry from Preacher doing Commodore 64, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think I'm correct. Sersoft doing something again, but this time only using 256 bytes, not enough to win the compo apparently. Zden doing something on the VCS as well. I think he was inspired by Zvoli's hardware thingy. Commodore 64, VCS stuff, Amstrad CPC, also very high quality entry. Demo of the Tentacle, and I'm trying to get this to pop up, but apparently the internet is not collaborating with me. Marsubita by Resource and RBBS, and the winner was Square Roots by Vanity, which was a very high quality production. Again, Vanity once more submitting something high quality for the Oldschool 4K compo.
Yeah.
Here we go, finally the screenshot opened. Okay. So, first year on the pandemic, what were your thoughts regarding the differences between the physical and the online? I mean, in terms of quality, it seems that it was pretty much the same, unlike other compos who seem to suffer a little bit from people not really wanting to submit to online stuff. This one seemed to be all right overall.
Yeah, I think my impression was, people were keen to support the party and keep that continuity going. So I think we had definitely a good turnout for 4K.
Okay, let's take a look at 2021. A lot more entries than usual. Something for the Game Boy Color, the Apple II, Commodore 64, VIC-20, Atari Falcon of all things. I would expect the Falcon to not be considered a fourth gen machine. Isn't it more advanced than that? It's listed here, so I guess you assumed it was part of the list.
Maybe just didn't cross our minds. Yeah.
Okay, maybe double check if this year is allowed, but yeah, cool to see it. I mean, there are not that many Atari Falcon entries anyway, so it was really cool to see it. Something for the MS-DOS, VCS again, MS-DOS again by Decadence this time. Oxygen also doing something, new 4K for the Amiga. I think it was called by Leonard, which had been doing some Amiga stuff. Lemon also doing 4K this year. Then Delightful Attributes. This demo came out of nowhere. I mean, not out of nowhere. These guys have been active for a very long time, just not on the Spectrum. So the fact that they did something for the Spectrum was really cool to see, and it got a lot of praise from the Spectrum scene. Was one of my favorites.
Yeah. So yeah, just at the Forever this weekend, I think they had a few people asking, oh, where did they come from? And it's it's really nice to see people picking up the Spectrum and bringing a different perspective to new ways of, I think, well, this one, they clearly sort of taken, okay, we've got these attribute limitations, what can we make out of those and so yeah, definitely seeing Spectrum hardware through fresh eyes, that's really something really special there.
Yeah, coming out of the box, guys. I mean, I think they were mostly used to Commodore 64 and those other obscure platforms that they have in Norway.
Tiki, is it?
The Tiki, yeah. The Tiki, is it Tiki 800? I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact name anymore, but yeah, they have and they did a lot of these different retro platform stuff. So they had a lot of experience with low-level assembler stuff and doing size stuff, size limited coding for those platforms. So that's where they came from. They came from Norway with love to take over the Spectrum. And then we had the Commodore 16+4 entry as well by Logicoma and Loonies, which was Hoffman again, and probably Blueberry with some other people doing some stuff as well. Really cool entry, and it won the compo. So really cool compo overall. This was really high quality stuff. So the bar has definitely been raised during the pandemic years.
Yeah, I think we've seen a few big names. I think definitely in the early years of the compo. Yeah, it's been sort of a bit of an unloved child, but I think people have really picked up on old school 4K as an avenue for exploring the old machines and doing something interesting. And yeah, I've seen some really good.
It goes along with the trend that during the pandemic we've seen a lot more size coding stuff. I mean, a lot of that was pushed by Super Rogue with Love Bite and the whole thing that he's been doing. But and technically speaking, 4K is still very long away from those tiny 256 byte 512 byte intros, and it's one of the critiques that actually like the Commodore 64 scene gets a lot from the size coding stuff, is that there aren't that many tiny size coding stuff. There's the stuff that LFT did, and that's pretty much it. Everyone else seems to aim for 4K instead, which is curious.
And even then, 4K doesn't seem to be a huge thing on the C64 either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's.
They're more for like one disk or one file formats of entries, I guess. Culturally, probably from swapping around disks with those things. Anyways, 2022 last year we had more VIC-20, Commodore 64, CPC representing again, Amiga, Commodore 64. Amstrad CPC, Vanity, always representing throughout the years. They must have done like 4 or 5 entries, so really cool, and all of them very high quality. Fnuke also did this very stylish entry. Quatuor, Dark Light and Offense again, doing another ZX Spectrum 4K, which is really cool to see. Chromatic Admiration, Logicom and Resource doing another Commodore 16+4 4K as well. And beating Dark Light and Offense again, so it is on. But the winner was actually Overlanders and Oxygen. They did this 4K Memories, which Had a lot of scenes in it. I guess that's the main point while it won. What were your thoughts? What were your favorites?
I think that one was quite a divisive one. I think obviously it's relying quite heavily on the crowd pleaser, the Eon references, but I think very well done. And having tried myself to do like 1K intros packed with like vector graphics, and actually getting that much content in there is an achievement.
Yeah, they had all the different kind of demos there, and even Super Mario, and it's all, I guess, using vector things.
And and
There's some trickery behind it, but the quantity of stuff that they packed into it was really cool to see. So yeah, that was 2022. Any expectations for this year? Anyone who said that they were definitely going to come and participate and submit something and conquer the entire world and maybe Saarbrücken?
Well, I know that I think Darklight and Offense are working on another Spectrum thing.
Cool.
Other than that, I've not really heard much else. But yeah, I noticed there's over the last couple of years, a couple of names repeating. I think I'm sure we can count on Vanity to do another stylish CPC thing, and look at some of these names. Maybe something. Logicoma, Oxygen. Who knows?
Let's see. Okay. So very much looking forward to the compo. It's been a really cool compo throughout the years. Any last words? Any places where you can start doing code for old school machines? I guess learning assembler is the main starting point. You did a really cool seminar on getting into size coding for the ZX Spectrum in particular. Are there any sort of resources that you can share, or is it mostly going to size coding Discord and pick it up from there?
I think this size coding Discord is probably the way to go. And the seminars at Love Bytes, there's My Spectrum one. It was also the one for the Atari 8-bit by Freddie. So I think there's resources out.
Okay. I'll let you go, Gasman. Thank you so much for your time. Very much looking forward to see you again at Revision and checking all the compos. Bye-bye, everyone. Hope you're excited for the compo as I am. Looking forward to see all your releases. Take care, everybody. Enjoy. See you next time.
See you.